Mic check. Good. Cool. Rip. All right, I'm back. I'm here. I'm talking about air suspension again. No, this is not sponsored. Airlift isn't telling me to say this. I had air before I even freaking worked here, okay? So this is just my personal story experience with airless suspension, and I thought you guys would like to know some more detail about it because there's a lot of questions, a lot of concerns. So this is my story. And while we're both here, don't forget wheels, tires, air suspension, coilover suspension, lowering springs, fitmentindustries.com. Go check it out on the website. And we have a giveaway going on with ESR to win some multi-piece wheels to go with your air ride. So go check that out. Bunch of apparel. It's super dope. So why did I go with air suspension? I was a hardcore static guy for a while. Bags, drive low, park low, scrape on everything. You know, that was the lifestyle. That was the move. That was the type of guy I was. I wanted to make my car as low as possible and wanted to know what all the hype was about. I did the unthinkable. I purchased Air Ride. Specifically, Airlift Performance 3P, all right? Airlift offers 3 different setups, 3S, 3P, and 3H. 3S is very basic, all manual, no presets, no controller, just the app on the phone, all right? So it's manual, you gotta play with it a little bit more. So if you didn't know, Airlift uses pressure to determine ride height. For example, I generally run about 40 PSI in the front, 45 PSI in the rear, and then with height sensors, you get a more accurate reading. Like if you're gonna throw a bunch of shit in the trunk or have a car full of people, the height sensors would know to bring the car to the right height. Whereas with a pressure-based system, you'd have to manually account for the added weight in the car. Not a huge deal, it is a little bit more convenient. Thought about 3H, but it's a bit more expensive and your boy's pockets are kind of light, so went with 3P. I heard install was pretty finicky with the height sensors and I learned that shortly after with installing that on the E30, but 3P was the route I wanted to take. So 3P comes with a controller, you can have presets, and comes with literally everything you need to install it and you're set. Like I said, it doesn't have the height sensors, it's pressure based, but for me, you know, that's good enough. All right, so speaking of install, let's touch on that a bit, bud, all right? I had a garage, a jack stands, a few good buddies, and some cold beverages. Airlift really did a great job of making the install a breeze. I was intimidated at first, not gonna lie, never did it before. I only did coilovers and lowering springs in the past, but they have an extremely nice install book that makes it so anyone can do it. I mean that, anyone. As long as you can look at a picture book, you can install Air Ride. It's not much more than installing coilovers, to be honest with you. You put your struts in, run your airlines, run your wires, and then decide how you want your trunk to look. That's it. Not spicing it up for you, that's what you do. You spend about a day to get the install done and then another half day or so to just get everything buttoned up and looking pretty. And then I was on my way. I'd say it's a weekend project or even a day depending on how many beverages you have. So how does it handle? They ride great, honestly. Making the presets for my ride height took a few minutes and a ride around the block, just to make sure nothing was rubbing or touching or all that good stuff. Extremely convenient, made a preset for aired out, my ride height, and then getting into driveways or speed bumps or all that nasty stuff that you experience when you're low and on coilovers. Now, no, you can't, like if you see something in the road, you're not gonna quick grab the controller and air up, but it does make it more convenient for getting into driveways and that stuff that I mentioned before. After getting my ride height dialed in and making sure my lines weren't getting pinched or rubbing, I took it in for an alignment and it was ready to rock and roll, baby. That was it. Now, have I had any issues? All the dreaded issues you hear about? No. Well, yes. Not really. Anyway, I've had a pressure sensor fault come up a few times on long trips. I'd be driving and all of a sudden my controller where it shows the pressure would be all red and saying something ridiculous like I had 150 PSI in my passenger side rear bag. And it kind of freaked me out the first time, I'm not gonna lie to you. So the first time that happened, I pulled over, I turned off my car because I really didn't know what else to do. I was in the middle of nowhere pulling over at a gas station, turned my car back on, looked at the controller and prayed, and it was fine. Everything was Gucci, all right? But it ended up coming back, happened a couple more times, so I contacted Airlift and they told me I probably had some water buildup in my lines. So I took that airline out and let it sit overnight once I was parked, and it dried out, put it back in, and I haven't had the issue since. And I've been on air for about 2 years, a little over 2 years now, and knock on wood, that's literally the only issue issue I've had. Never left me stranded. I've never popped a bag. I haven't had a fuse go out. I haven't had an airline rupture. It hasn't happened. And I do drive the car quite a bit. I've drove it from multiple state to get to shows and all that good stuff. Coming from a guy that was hardcore about being static, air suspension has really impressed me. I've really enjoyed the convenience of it, and I'm pretty sold on whatever my next car ends up being going on air too. What's your thoughts on air? Is it worth the price? You hardcore coilover guy? Probably are. But comment below. If you're interested in air, we got it over at fitmentindustries.com. If you want my recommendation, go for it. Get the 3P, it's really convenient. Bag your car, bag your daily, bag your mom's car, bag your groceries. I'm Dakota from Fitment Industries. We'll talk to you later.